Alright guys, 2006 Honda Odyssey with a 3.5 liter engine. We're going to be doing a quick starter replacement on this van. It's an intermittent no start. Let me see if I can catch it right now. Nope. Try it again. Nope. Nope. Anyways, 2006 Honda Odyssey. We're going to be doing a starter on this van, and I want to walk you guys through the procedure on how to do it. It's a pretty straightforward procedure, but I think this video will help a lot of you guys out there, because the starter on the Honda Odyssey is a very common failure, except when I'm recording. Every time I come out to record, the car doesn't want to act up. But we got a starter issue on this 2006 Honda Odyssey. I'm going to show you guys how to do it, so let's go under the hood and see what we got to do. Alright, 2006 Honda Odyssey. The starter on this fan is right down there under the radiator hoses. You can actually see the connector for the starter and the battery post cable that goes down there. So on this car, or this truck or van, the battery has to come out, and the battery tray on which the battery sits on has to come out. But there's two bolts underneath that are pretty tricky to access, but you can get them from under the car. I'm going to remove the battery, and I'm going to show you where those are at, and after that it's going to be pretty easy to access the starter on this Honda Odyssey. So I'm going to set you guys right here, and we're going to get to work on this starter replacement. First thing I'm going to do is remove the battery, and all we need for that is a 10mm socket, which I have right here. This cover out of here too. All right, now the battery tray has to come out. That's the tray right there. There is one screw down there. You can see that screw. You can see that screw right there by the airbox, and there's another screw right down here, straight down. And then from underneath, there's two screws that bolt this onto the subframe, or to the frame. One's over there on that side, and one's over there on this side, but they're hard to reach from up here. I mean, you can do it, it is doable, but I'm going to take you guys underneath so that you can see how easy it is to get them down from under the van. So let's go under the truck. Oh, right under the truck, you can see, let me see if I can show you there, up on that frame rail right there is one of the screws. It is actually a 12mm head, and the other one is on this side. It's over here on this side, but it's easier to see if you come from under right here. It's right on top of the transmission, and you can see that bolt right there next to that connector. You're gonna need a 12mm ratchet or a socket, preferably a 12mm with a flex head, so that you can access that one. And then this one right here, you can access it with an extension. And once you this one, you're gonna have to remove all the way. And this one that's over here, you can just loosen it up, because the battery tray has a notch that you can guide in there, and I'll show you once I take it off. So let me remove the battery tray, and once we have it off, you can see how easy it is to get to the starter, which is down here. I can actually see it from here, but we're gonna go through the top to get it out. So let me remove the battery tray, and then we can keep working here. Okay, there's one. Okay, I think it's loose enough so we can slide the tray out of there. So let me go back up on top of the van, and then we'll take the other two screws, and then we should be able to slide that tray out. First thing I'm gonna do is take off this 10mm right here. There's another 10mm right here. Actually, I'm gonna remove this plastic first. So there's just two little clips here. There's one that just flew away. There's another one. These little chingaderas right here. See that? Gotta take those off. Just gonna put everything up here on top of the wiper cowl. Acá en esta chingadera. Now using my 10, I gotta unbolt this battery tray from the air filter housing and undo this 10 over here. You can't see it, but it's there. Okay, this little 10 right here, and then there's this 10 for the air filter housing. Okay, we can take this plastic off. It just clips on down there like this. Then we have access to this other 10 mil right here. Can I block you? Yeah, see that? Take that off. This is the same size as this one, so you can mix those up. Now we're going after the two 12s. Going after this 12. Okay, that's out. And we're out. Okay, got it out. Got one of the 12s out right there. And here's the other one. It fell down, but you get the idea. This tray has to come up and out of the way. Okay, squiggle it out of there, and I'll show you out of the car. Actually, you can see it right here. See that notch? That's the one that's on the bottom by the transmission. Here's the one that I just took off. That's by the air filter housing. All right, now you can clearly see how easy it is and how much more access we have now to the starter that's right here. Now it's just a matter of taking it out of the car and putting the new one in there. But let me show you what came out of the car. So first things first, you got the battery hold down, you got the battery, you got this battery tray or battery cover, and you got the battery tray with the 12 mils. You can see right there how they have the notches on the battery tray for ease of access and ease of removal. So let me go ahead and remove the starter. We'll pop a new one in, and that's it. It pays like an hour and a half for this job, but I think 20-30 minutes should be enough, you know, having all the power tools and whatnot and the experience. So let me sit you guys back down. We'll start taking it off, and then we can get out of here. All right, I think that's a good angle for you right there. So basically the wire that comes from the ignition switch to the starter just pops out of there. You can just pull it out. It's just one of those spade terminal connectors. Easier said than done, of course. Okay, so let me pull this back. There it is. Can you see that? It's one of those chingaderas right there. Okay, this one just slide the boot back, and I believe that's a 13 or a 12. I'm gonna use my Milwaukee ratchet with a 12 millimeter on there to get this nut out. Okay, now I told you guys before I like to reuse this nut just because it's a lot better than when they give you in the box. All right, electrically the starter is disconnected up here right behind the radiator hose. You can see that bolt right there. That is a 17 millimeter head bolt, and it's going to be pretty tight because that not only goes through the starter, but it bolts onto the transmission. And there's also one on the bottom over here on this side, so you're going to need some Scotty Kilmer to get that off. The starter has already been changed. I can see a sticker on there that says remanufactured, so these bolts might not be too tight. Okay, that one's loose. Okay, you can see that my extension stays on there because it's on the bolt. On the bolt. Okay, here we go. There it is. All right, now that they're loose, I can use my Milwaukee with the extension to take them off, and that starter should just fall out of place. So I'm gonna start off with the bottom one first. Okay, it's coming out. It's a long bolt too. I've done plenty of these before. See that? That's the bottom starter bolt. Right there. Pretty long. All right, let me take the other one off now. There goes the other one up here. Okay, there it is. You can see this bolt's a lot shorter, so don't mix them up. Top bolt is shorter, bottom bolt is longer. Now we can pull the starter out of here. Boom. Just like that. And here's a new starter. You can see this nice and shiny. But will it work? Because it is a triple tested Duralast part. Shout out to the Zone. Okay. Now to install it is just the reverse of the removal. And I'm gonna go ahead and start the top bolt first just so we can hold it in place. Now we can put the bottom one in. It's a little longer, you can see that. You can't mix them up. So the bottom one goes in. Now you always want to start them by hand. I always tell you guys this, start them by hand so you don't cross-thread anything. Now I just gotta hold this straight while I use my Milwaukee ratchet to tighten those bolts up. So I'll use my left hand to hold it up straight, and I'll button this up. Okay, I'll go underneath to the other one. Boom. Now one thing I always like to do is I like to go back in there with the handheld ratchet and just, you know, get my feel by hand on this ratchet just to make sure that the starter's not coming off. Here we go. Okay, that's tight. Go down to the bottom one. And yes, there is torque specs, but after a while you get the feel of it and it won't come off. Wire that comes from the battery. Okay, it's tight. And no, this video is not sponsored by Milwaukee, but it should be. And then this one, you got to make sure that it's in all the way. You don't want any false contacts. All right, cool, we're in. Cover that up. And that's how you do that chingadera right there. You can see over here, well, maybe you can't see, I gotta show you guys. You can see how I just loosened up the bolt on that battery tray. I left a little gap right there, and that's gonna allow me to slide the tray in there without having to remove that bolt right there all the way off. Starter is in, it's connected. From here, it's just installing the tray, installing the battery, connect everything back, and make sure that it starts as it should. So let me go ahead and put you guys down and let me keep working here because it's already 5:30 and we gotta go. All right, everything is back in place right here. You can see positive battery cable, negative battery cable, and then got everything down in there, back into place. Everything is bolted on like it is from factory. Now we got to go down there and make sure that all the bolts are tight down on the battery tray up in there. So I'll do that right now. I won't show you guys, but I'll do that, make sure that everything's tight. But let's just verify and make sure that this truck starts. I mean, even though it always did, but you know, when you put a new starter, you want to make sure that it starts and doesn't leave worse than it came in. So here we go. Boom, starts right up. You can see that right there, RPM. So that's it, homies, that's it. Try that again just to make sure that we didn't get a defective starter. About to crank this up. Okay, so that's it right there. 2006 Honda Odyssey 3.5 starter replacement. I don't know if you can see the starter down there, but it's done. This one is a fix. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one.